What is going on, everybody? WeedleTwineedle here, and we are back again with another Sun and Moon Wi-Fi battle, and this one's going to be against Jimmy, a very good friend of mine, and he's also the admin on my Discord server. Some of you guys all know and love, and some of you guys might hate because he banned your ass. Either way, we are battling him today, and we are having a never-used game with morals, which essentially means we are not bringing the broken Pokemon that are in the NU meta, and broken Pokemon obviously
really,
is different for different people, but that's where the morals come in, like, do we morally think this Pokemon is broken? And we're also not bringing Stealth Rocks, because Stealth Rocks, when you're trying to use fun Pokemon, are like your arch enemy. So getting all that out of the way, we're just gonna head right into the battle. So team preview is irrelevant, we have no idea what each other are bringing, because we did not look at team preview either, so it is very cool, because it's just kind of like Gen 4, because you could not look at team preview in Gen 4. So turn 1, I lead off with my blue balls, my very original nickname, Hayden nickname, though I did not nickname this Pokemon. I got this Pokemon on Wonder Trade, because unlike certain people, I don't get salty when I get shiny Pokemon off Wonder Trade. I have to use them with pride if they're battle ready, of course, and I always Wonder Trade my rejects, which is why I always get Pokemon like this. So, I switch into my Meganium here, revealing it, as Jimmy does reveal Gastrodon. I did kind of taunt because I expected him to bring in a grass type or a ground type, so it works for me, as now I'm able to bring a Meganium in on the Surf. He says he prefers Surf over Scald because he doesn't like to get the burn on stuff he's rather toxic, which is definitely understandable, but yeah, I'm going to go for the Toxic here because I want to give him a taste of his own medicine and get the poison off with the Jimmy named after, Jimmy, because it is his favorite starter Pokemon, and Meganium is just really cool, and I really wish I got like some sort of buff or something, or like a Mega Evolution, not even a Mega Evolution, just a better hidden ability would be nice. That'd be pretty cool if I got like Magikarp. It would give it a nice niche, but unfortunate, or even if I got Fairy type, that'd be really sweet as well. That way it could be like a Shiinotic Jr. But yeah, Jimmy's gonna set up the sticky webs with his Leavanny, as I'm gonna bring in the coffee table here. I'm gonna reveal it. I wanted to nickname this thing Lay Table, but I didn't get to nickname it in time. I was going to re-nickname it Lay Table, but Coffee Table will have to do Coffee Table works. It's pretty much a coffee table. As, yeah, Jimmy's just going to go for the knockoff here, just to remove my leftovers, which is a pretty good play. As, I'm just going to go for the Rapid Spin here, just because I want to just get rid of the sticky webs that he just set up on me. And, I was debating on going for Avalanche here, but I'm like, he's probably going to either predict me to go for the Avalanche or predict me to predict the switch and stay in. I don't really know, but I just decided to go for Rapid Spin again in case he wants to just hack off the sink for sticky webs, like most people do with their sticky web user, but Jimmy does decide instead to bring in the Miltank. As I go for Rapid Spin, reveal the Miltank, as I didn't see it beforehand, and now I know he has it. Miltank's pretty cool. I've been meaning to use a Miltank recently, but I never got around to it. But Miltank was pretty good back and forth Gen NU. I really like Miltank because it can be run like a lot of ways. It's one of those Pokemon that can be run so many ways. But I'm going to bring in my Jimmy here, expecting Body Slam or Toxic. As what do you know, Jimmy reveals a nice Toxic, so that's 2 Toxic so far used in the battle. I mean, I'm obviously using Toxic myself, so I have no right to complain, but I kind of brought Toxic just to give Jimmy a taste of his own medicine. And I do like to bring at least 1 Toxic user on my team, just so I can like combat walls that are really annoying. And it's definitely understandable to run Toxic on your team. It's not like you're a, horrible person for running Toxic. Like when you start running Mega Sableye, like Scarm Chansey, is when you are probably not a good person and you probably deserve to get hung. But getting off that topic, Jimmy's going to withdraw here and bring in the Leavanny. I really thought he'd reveal something else, but I decided to double switch out, expecting him to reveal something else, and I bring in my Period here, my Wishy-Washy, and Jimmy has no idea what the hell Wishy-Washy does, because he didn't really play Sun and Moon all that much, so I had to explain to him that Wishy-Washy is pretty much broken until you knock it into 25% of its health, where it turns into a really useless form, kind of like Magikarp level. But yeah, I pretty much explained that to him, so he has to knock me into 25% health. And he's like, oh, that should be pretty easy. So, he's going to actually stay in here and just attack off the Leavanny, because he saw this thing special attack stat, and he's like, why is this thing at you? I'm like, well, it's not that good. It's alright. It was really slow, which kind of screws it over. But yeah, Ice Beam's going to knock out the Leavanny. I was debating on him, trying to just go for Leaf Blade, but I figured Ice Beam was just my best play overall. As now he's going to bring in the Raichu, and I'm at full HP, so I'm confident I could face tank a Thunderbolt, and this whole Raichu is a big threat to my team, because he just revealed it, and it could be a nasty plot set. So he decides to go for Thunderbolt. I should be able to tank it, but it actually one-shots me, and I'm like, oh, he must be like modest or something. But he doesn't show Life Orb, so that definitely tells me he's Choice Specs low on Raichu, which is definitely a very big threat to my team. I was not expecting that. I was expecting like Nasty Plot or a Psychic, expecting my Switch Out or Volt Switch or something, but he just goes straight for the freaking Specs Thunderbolt with Modest low on Raichu, so that was just a ton of power, and I was not ready for it. So, in most other circumstances, staying in would have been a right play. I could have punished the Alone Raichu, but instead I definitely got dicked on. And that's definitely where the surprise factor comes in with Pokemon. Like, I love to use the surprise factor myself to win games, but this battle is a perfect example where Jimmy just uses the surprise factor to just put the battle in his favor. Because here, I think that Sliggoo can do a lot of work to his team because he's revealed Gastrodon, Miltank, you know, and he only has like one of the Pokemon he hasn't revealed yet. So Sliggoo should have been able to set up on him theoretically, but after a curse, the Ice Punch just demolishes me, which reveals he's Choice Banded Golurk. So he's running Choice Banded Golurk and Choice Specs Alone Raichu, a very manly core, which is pretty cool. I can respect Jimmy for that. And yeah, I'm just going to stay in here because I do threaten out the Golurk, I'm pretty sure. As now he's going to bring in the Alone Raichu right in on me. I was not expecting that, because I just had a double switch out actually. I thought I'd stay in. But I bring in my Sliggoo expecting Gastrodon or Miltank to come in, but he brings in the Alone Raichu, and I was pretty sure I could tank one attack from this thing, because this thing is careful with, you know, the E-Violate. But I decided to switch out anyways and bring in my Sliggoo, or my Behemoth, expecting the Psychic because he is Choice Specs, and he does go straight for the Psychic here, as it's going to do a decent chunk to Behemoth, but I am a defensive Behemoth with like a lot of HP investment, so I should be able to tank a few Psychics and go from there. And I do actually have a pretty unique Behemoth set, as it's not going to really do me that good in this game because Jimmy has a Butterfree and a Golurk that can deal with me, but I'm going to go straight for the Psychic anyway, expecting Jimmy to want to switch out, as I do have the Analytic Boost, but Butterfree just barely hangs on because I don't have much special attack investment, and he actually told me he's not Life Orb, which is pretty cool. He's not Focus Sash, he actually is Life Orb. So he's actually a Life Orb Butterfree. I don't know this until after I switch into my freaking Katsuyu. I'm like, now's the opportunity, I can rest up and get all of my health back. But he's gonna go for the Bug Buzz here, and I should be able to face tank this. I'm Sliggoo. But yeah, Sliggoo takes a pretty big chunk of damage from it. Jimmy was surprised I lived it, but Sliggoo has a really high speed F stat. And yeah, I'm actually gonna get 2-hit KO'd by the Bug Buzz. Not too surprising because he's Life Orb, but yeah, down goes my Katsuyu, unfortunately. And his Butterfree is also gonna go down to the Life Orb recoil, so down goes the Butterfree. And unfortunately, Sliggoo, if I got the rest off, I would have been in a pretty good position against the Alone Raichu, but unfortunately, I kind of misplayed the Sliggoo against the Golurk, and it kind of backfired on me, as Jimmy actually does not have a Dragon Resistance on his team, as I've seen so far, so keeping Sliggoo alive would have definitely been good, as I could have gotten a few curses up and just outraged the hell out of his team, and then used Rain Dance Hydration to work. You know, it would have been good, but I mean, I misplayed it, and I mean, it happens. That's what happens when you just kind of play, you know, pretty bad Pokemon. They just don't do that much work in the game. So Jimmy's gonna bring in the Golurk here onto the Earthquake. Pretty risky play, but I guess he just expected the Earthquake. As now he's just going to go for the, you know, Iron Fist Banded Boost, you know, Drain Punch from Golurk, and that's gonna knock out my Avalugg. Unfortunately, Avalugg cannot tank the heat. Freaking Choice Specs, Alone Raichu, and Banded Golurk is too much of an offensive core for my team to deal with, and I should have honestly expected the Choice Pokemon from Jimmy, because he does love running Choice items on random Pokemon, as I like to do that too. I do have a couple of Pokemon I do that with, but yeah, I just wasn't expecting it from him. As now Jimmy's going to withdraw and bring in the Gastrodon here. Onto my Behemoth, as it's his best play, as I'm just going to decide to set up a nasty plot because I need to get as much offensive momentum as I can, because I'm currently very far behind in the battle, as Behemoth is pretty much one of my last-ditch efforts to even having a chance of winning this game, and considering Jimmy has Banded Golurk and Specs Alone Raichu, it's not looking too good for me, as he also just Toxics me, so it's a little bit unfortunate, but I'm still going to be able to get a +2 Analytic Boosted Psychic off on the Gastrodon, as I'm thinking it should knock him out, but the Gastrodon appears to be a Spadef invested Gastrodon. I could be wrong, just an educated guess. I didn't really damage calc or anything, as now I do decide to speed up the battle just a little bit because it's a little bit of stally, and actually you can barely notice the speed up, so maybe I didn't even speed it up. Oh well, either way, I'm going to switch into my Jimmy here, my Meganium, as I can just tank Toxic or Surf or whatever, as Jimmy's going to decide to go for the Recover, as I was debating on going for a second nasty plot expecting Recover, but I'm like, I'm going to get Toxic stalled either way, so it's not really worth it for me in the end. As here, I do decide to go for the Leech Seed, expecting Jimmy to want to switch out, but he decides to stay in here, expecting me to predict a switch. So it was a nice play, but I mean, him surfing my Meganium isn't really going to do him that much, as I don't think I should really run Leech Seed on this set. Maybe I should just run Synthesis instead of Leech Seed, but Leech Seed gives me more, you know, healing and just allows me to chip stuff easier, because Meganium isn't the most powerful Pokemon in the world. So yeah, Jimmy's going to actually switch out and bring in the Golurk, as I was going to click Giga Drain, but instead I decided to click Z Aromatherapy, but I didn't click the Z part, I just clicked regular Aromatherapy instead of Z Aromatherapy, and because of that, I actually died to Ice Punch, which is unfortunate because I knew I could have lived a banded Ice Punch and gotten the Overgrowth boosted Giga Drain off, but I mean, that's what happens when you just, I mean, I don't know, I can't really explain that. That was just like me, like, whoops, my bad. So now the battle's even more one-sided. I mean, it's not one-sided, it's just kind of like a little unfortunate, honestly. That was just unlucky. I should have definitely been paying more attention. But I'm going to go for the Head Power Ice here and, you know, do a decent chunk, but not really much to the Gastrodon. As down goes my Blue Balls, and all I have left now is my Behem. So I'm going to bring in my Invasion here, my Alien, and he does have the Toxic, and he can just Toxic Stall me pretty much. And he also has the Banded Golurk and the Alone Raichu, so it's pretty much inevitable that I'm going to lose. But I'm still going to try and get as many kills as possible with this Behem, because I may as well, right? And, I mean, forfeiting, I could have forfeited, but, like, there's no fun in forfeiting. May as well just let Jimmy get his revenge, because, I mean, the first battle, I destroyed him, and the second battle, he destroyed me. So, I mean, it's a nice, you know, refresher, especially since our teams are pretty fun as well. I still had a lot of fun, even though I didn't play very well. I could have definitely played a lot better, but it happens. I mean, that's Pokemon, and you play good games, you play bad games, and, you know, when you take them L's, you gotta take them with pride. So here he's gonna go for the Surf here. I mean, he's not gonna try and like 4-0 me. He wants to make the game, you know, relatively close, right? So Psychic's gonna knock out the Gastrodon here, and Recover Stalling at that point, just being a scumbag. I mean, I would have definitely just sacked off Gastrodon too, but now I'm Toxic Stalled to the point where Jimmy could just bring in Raichu here and knock me out with the Specs Thunderbolt, and that is going to be GG. So it was a pretty fun battle against Jimmy. I had a lot of fun, and he had a lot of fun as well, and I hope you guys did enjoy that Wi-Fi battle. It was a little bit of a different rule set, but we had fun. No team preview, no Stealth Rocks. Proved to be a pretty fun battle, actually. So if you guys did enjoy this Wi-Fi battle and want to support my YouTube channel, please be sure to Continental crush that like button, as it's much appreciated, and your support means the world to me. And yeah, the question of the day is going to be, what was the worst time you got smashed in a Pokemon battle? Let me know in the comments below. It could be recent, it could just be like the worst time possible. I'm going to tell you guys a recent one where my opponent brought Cloyster. It was an RU battle, right? I'm like, yeah, this team's pretty solid. I was like low-key tryharding, and he led Cloyster turn 1, click Shell Smash, and 6-0'd me. And yeah, that was the story. It was a little bit unfortunate, and I was gonna upload it as a montage, but I decided not to, just because you guys would have got mad at me for being 6-0'd by a Cloyster. So there you go, guy. I admitted to my defeat to a Cloyster, so no, he can be happy. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching till the end. I'll check you guys in my next video. Alright, peace.